We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Space stream. You can be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Coming to you from the spaceship studios from a galaxy far, far away. And I am alright. Just going to get something really quick right here. And, okay. Be right back in a second. I have returned. So, and also, and hello everyone, it is nice to have you here, and switching over to the next window. Alright, so we're going to be doing this for a little while, a little bit of a surprise stream, and we are going to be talking about some of these fruit trees. Okay, so while many fruit trees require significant water, several species are exceptionally well suited for the desert environments due to their heat tolerance and low civil chill hour requirements. There's pomegranates. These are among the most resilient and productive fruit trees for dry climates. They are highly drought tolerant once established and thrive in intense heat and alkaline soils common in desert regions. Varieties like the wonderful, particularly popular for the sweet, dark, and red fruit. Figs. Figs love the sun and heat, making them some of the easiest fruit trees to grow and arid conditions. They are often self fertile and can produce multiple harvests per year. Recommended variety include the brown turkey, black mission, and cadota. Dates are truly symbolic of the desert oasis. Palms are perfectly adapted to hot, dry climates, and they produce high energy fruit, rich natural sugars and minerals. The Jubi's Chinese dates. These trees are virtually pest free and incredibly tough, handling temperatures from 100 Fahrenheit down to -10 Fahrenheit. Their fruit tastes similar to a sweet apple when fresh and can be dried to date-like consistency. Citrus, lemons, limes, and oranges are staples in the low desert areas like Phoenix and Palm Springs, where winters stay relatively warm. Common choices include the Valencia oranges and the Lisbon lemons. The native and unique to desert edibles. The prickly pear cactus, while technically a cactus, it produces a sweet, vibrant colored fruit called the tunas. And edible pads also are called the same thing. The mesquite trees. These trees produce pods filled with sweet, dry pulp that can be grounded into a gluten-free flour. All right, the dragon fruit, a climbing cactus that thrives in rock-dry terrain, offering refreshing, hydrating fruit in extreme heat. Stone fruits and low chill varieties. Traditional stone fruits can grow in deserts. If you see low chill varieties that don't need long cold winters to produce fruit. Peaches. Varieties like the Desert Gold are Babcock. The apricots. Varieties like the Gold Kiss and the Blenheim are known for their desert performances. Apples. While most challenging, the Dorset Golden are specifically bred for hot climates with mild winters. For the best results, gardeners in the regions often drip irrigation and apply much help retain soil and moisture. Now, these are desert orchid involves unique drought tolerant species, party trees, so exotic and arid adapted fruits. The loquats. These evergreen trees produce clusters of sweet, tangy yellow-orange fruit in early spring. They're relatively easy to grow and they can handle some light shade. Hello there, Joseph. Welcome to the stream. Shout out to you. And we have the guavas. Both tropical and pineapple guavas are highly resilient to established pineapple guavas, and particularly through tolerating poor soil and high temperatures. Good evening to you. Glad to have you here. This is the computer live stream. All right, the mulberries varieties, like the Pakistan mulberry, are increasingly productive in desert heat, providing long, sweet berries in late spring. The quince, a hardy relative for pear quince, that thrives in dry climates and produces highly aromatic fruit used for preserves and baking. The Kai apple, native to South Africa, these extreme drought-resistant tree produces acidic apricot-like fruits and often used as tree defensive hedges due to its sharp spines. There's desert hardy nuts. Nut trees often double as excellent shade trees in large yards, provided that they have room and deep irrigation. There's pistachios. That's a classic one. I like pistachios. These perfectly suited for their desert requiring hot summers and cold winters to produce high quality nuts. Almonds, specifically adapted to Mediterranean climates, variety like self-pollinating all-in-one or heat-hardy Texas Mission almond perform well in dry heat. Pecans, while they need more consistent water, they in the desert, varieties like the Western Schley or the Wichita produce massive crops and provide dense shade. Okay. Now let's see this part. Desert climate roots must be either natively adapted to extreme droughts or grown during the cooler winter months when soil moisture is easier to maintain. Native edibles and desert roots. Yucca root. Several species like the Banana yucca have edible roots that can be roasted or boiled, though they are often used for their uh, sopians. The agave root. While most famous for its nectar and heat, agave were traditionally pit roasted as survival food. Desert lily, native to the Mojave and the Sonoran deserts. This plant grew from deep bulb that is edible and tastes similar to garlic when cooked. Sergo lily, hardy desert wildflower with small nutritious bulb that was a staple for the Native American tribes and early pioneers. Home garden's success depends on the choosing of heat-tolerant varieties and timing. Hello, Double. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. For home gardens, the success depends on choosing heat-tolerant varieties or timing your planting for winter growing season. Sweet potatoes. These are arguably the best root crop for desert summers. They thrive in high heat, and their spreading vines act as a living mulch to keep the soil cool. Carrots and parsnips. The desert, these are typically grown as winter crops when planted in sandy soil. The growing deep to seek moisture and become exceptionally sweet during cool nights. Onions and garlic. These are desert staples usually planted in the fall for spring harvest. They are well adapted to long, sunny days and well drained soils of the Southwest. Hello, everybody coming in. Welcome to the stream, Duke and Lori. Thanks, Duke, for the dragon video. Very interesting. And the jicama, often called the Mexican turnip. This root loves heat and produces a crunchy, hydrating tuber that prefers desert climates. Right. The root adaptations. The deep tap roots trees in mesquite can send roots down over 150 feet. reach into deep aquifers. Brain roots. The agave and cacti can have tiny hairs which rainfall, and you see these are the desert plants we're talking about, but the edible components of them. Okay, and let's see the winter plants. Now there are evergreens. Oh, that is good, mermaid. Excellent. Evergreens, abortive North Pole, and the Stonehenge yew provide tall, narrow structural environment elements. For ground cover, Siberian cypress turns a unique rust-set purple in the winter. Powerful stems. Red twig dogwood is northern favorite as the bright red bark. Oh, you as well, mermaid. Thanks. Provide a narrow structural element. For ground cover, Siberian cypress turns a unique russet purple in winter. Red twig dogwood is northern favorite as a bright red bark creates a striking contrast against the white snow. All right, wintry holly. These are like winter plants, by the way. Okay. So is Dedicus meaning that it loses leaves in fall, but the leaves behind the dense clusters of bright red berries that are attracted to birds throughout the winter. Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Yes. Northwest zones, very few plants bloom in dead of winter, but several hardy enough to emerge through the snow. The witch hazel shrubs produce fragrant spider-like flowers as early as January and February, and the Lenten rose bloom flowers at snow in the ground. Brussels sprouts, kale, and spinach and garlic are all for those types of seasons too. Let's see. Oh yeah, mermaid. The judge did not hold back on him. He was telling him multiple times that he would be sentenced to death, over and over. Yes. Yeah, and the dude was just staring at him, and just with no conscience or emotion or anything like that, because autism doesn't or ADHD doesn't cause people to do disturbing things like that. They're not correlated. So yeah, the judge got did not hold back at all. Yes, everyone hated him equally. Yes. Yeah, dude is just like a static TV. He has no, just nothing going on, and I think the judge had a very good response, and he was emotional. He was definitely feeling for the victims and the people that and the jury that had to deal with that. And there's people that were wearing pink for her, and it was a good thing because it was so He's very cowardly, and just you just see how he just sits there with no just like nothing going on. Most people would have some sort of reaction, but he doesn't. Remember, because it was not autism or ADHD he had. He had, you know, definitely psychopathic. It was nice watching it earlier with chat, the verdict. Yeah. Early hominins, 20 million years ago, evidence of foraging and hunting behavior dates back to early African hominins. Okay, it goes all the way back then. Ancestors relied on scavenging animal remains left by the predators. It's been going on for 12,000 years. Plants for foraging. And they had a couple different trials on today, and that one was good to see the verdict on. Yes, I agree. I agree. Because these sick people may need to be locked up and throw away the key. Definitely. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, and you did take a lot of passion with the trial. You were, involved with it with us in the chat. Hello, UAP. Welcome to the stream. Okay. And nice to have you on board, UAP. And yeah, so you definitely, I like your commentary about it, Mermaid, while the trial was going on. You did very well with it. And yeah, I'm glad everybody's on the same page about that. And I hope all people that are disturbed like that can just be done away with. Yeah, Mermaid, I was thinking about where you were. I was not sure, but I was hoping you were okay. And because maybe I know something was wrong, but I was glad to have you here now. And I understand. Sometimes people get sick. It's understandable. Oh yes, absolutely. I agree, Mermaid. And thank you for tuning in. Awesome. Oh, okay, Mermaid. I'd like to know if you have any updates about it. You could feel free to tell me if you'd like. But yeah, I'm thoughts and prayers for your friend, Jenny. Yeah, well, this is gonna certainly be an unsolved mystery. At the moment, it's an unsolved mystery. Doesn't mean she won't come back at some point. But you know, there is an unsolved mysteries episode where people were exploring this concept where this dude's dad left the farm and he never came back. And there's theories that he may have went off with someone else or started a new life. So it could be, they think it could be something like that. And you know, I don't know if that is really the case, but whoever this secret boyfriend is, I, it's kind of very, the person should be tracked down because that's very suspicious of, but it's a really unfortunate that no one is. The mermaid, do you know when the last time she was seen by anybody? Because I personally like to know more details about the last time she was seen or where she was, because sometimes, unfortunately, people could just vanish out of broad daylight, or sometimes people could leave their homes. So oh, okay, she might be officially known as missing as of last night. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Oh, a month ago. Yikes. Oh, in March. Yeah, I mean, oh, hello, Journey. A nice feline picture right there. Yeah, Mermaid. Because uh, you know, it's definitely an unsolved mystery at the moment. You know, if there was usually Mermaid, in my opinion, I don't think she would have had a reason to leave everybody behind like that and just vanish. In my opinion, Uh, but it's possible. Don't give up on hope about finding her. But it is quite strange. Oh, it's Joey. A shout out to Joey the cat. It's a handsome cat right there. Yeah, UAP. That is unfortunately true. Yeah. That's kind of suspicious that her phone is not active. Either her or someone else shut it off. Yeah. That means that the phone is completely deactivated. Or turned off. Or it said, UAP. That was an accident, by the way. Uh, yeah. UAP says hello to Boom. Yeah. Yeah. UAP. It was a mistake. Uh, yeah. And Murray said, it's hard to talk about her in the past tense. I tried to talk to her in present tense and feel I'm scared. She might be kidnapped, trafficked, who knows, ended up. I cried last night. Okay, and Bombastic said, Stay Colorado wouldn't let me. Oh. Alright, well, yeah, Mermaid, I'm concerned about that too. Because, the truth sets you free. At the same time, we can't lose hope completely, of course. Yeah, UAP. She pressed the wrong button by mistake. You know, yeah. It was not on purpose. Just had a dream that she sent me a message on Instagram saying, "Oh, UAP, by mistake, she accidentally deleted a comment you said by mistake." That's what occurred. UAP didn't even notice. Yeah. Okay. And that. Oh, okay, UAP. Thanks. Mermaid. That's. I feel very bad that you're having dreams like that. It's very creepy, and haunting to have those type of dreams. It's you've been through track things, and yeah, and Lori, you could, as I said, do what you usually do with the device. If you put it in your pocket or whatever, uh, I'll fix it where it doesn't do that again. Uh, so, Lori, just do as you usually do. If you put it in your pocket, just leave it in your pocket. Uh, it'll. I'll fix it where it doesn't do that anymore. Oh, hilarious, right? Yeah. And Mermaid also wants to let you know that your friend wouldn't send you a message that would be oh hilarious with. Yeah, Mermaid definitely it is a traumatic thing. Especially on top of that. Yeah, so your friend wouldn't write you just with "Hey." She would give you an explanation about what happened. So it's not really her communicating. It's something, she would not want you to be upset. Oh yes, UAP. There you go. Mermaid, that's very suspicious, and yeah, that's very suspicious. That the map is shut off on Snapchat. That's very sus. You know, this is what I would like to know. I would like to know if she was somewhere in broad daylight and if someone needed help with something and lured her to a spot. Oh, nice journey. Or if she was from her house or she went off with a friend, or that's what I'd like to know exactly what it was. Oh yeah, sure, that is true. Right, right. All I'm saying is she's not gonna scare you, or not give you an explanation. Like, she'll give you an explanation, in my opinion. So I'd like to know if there's other missing cases around the region. Also, that could be an indication of something else going on. She was lovely type and free alone, being free alone, but she would ride her bike out in Colorado. Hmm. Okay. For cigweed. Okay. Oh, hilarious chat. Hilarious. Okay. A lonely type, so she's being out there alone. Well, that yeah, her being alone like that wouldn't be so. She probably didn't go off with someone else if she likes being alone, unless somebody tried to visit her, a mysterious guest of some kind. But some people just want to start over and do something new with their lives. Oh, let's see. Okay, mermaid, understood. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it could have developed fast, like a hurricane. A tropical storm could just happen out of nowhere. Okay, in Colorado, there's some missing people. Let's see. There's Elizabeth Areda missing on May 1st. Okay, on May 1st, there was another missing, reported missing, Elizabeth Avri Avreda on May 1. And sometimes, mermaid, people disappear in a series of time. So the 17th, and then another person goes missing on April or on May. Okay. So that hopefully she comes up at some point. Yeah, no, it does. Let's see. And so far, no one named Jenny has showed up yet in the registry, from what I'm seeing. Yeah, being isolated like that isn't always a good thing, and it doesn't look too good. But yeah, it's a. Hopefully, she comes up at some point. Sometimes people could go, you know, get lost. People can get, injured or something. I'm not trying to, it doesn't necessarily have to be the other thing, but it could be the other thing too, though. Oh, I don't blame you, UAP. That's very, very horrible to go through something like that. Condolences for your loss, by the way, also. Yeah, so The recent missing ladies in Colorado that are recorded at the time is there's Rachel Barkey, 40, last seen April 27, 2026. Family police have organized search parties after she failed to contact them, which described as being out of character for her. Virginia Manzi, 71, at risk adult, missing Colorado since May 2. She was last seen near the East Caramello Street toward the Chapel Hills. Elizabeth reported missing from Averda on May 1, 2026. She was last seen near it. So whoever, April and May, interesting, April 27 is similar to March 17th. So it looks like certain parts of the month these ladies are going missing. And there's Courtney, April 10. So there seems to be a couple people going missing over there. Oh yeah, Mermaid, it would be. See, that would be if there was a person that was missing in the snow, it would be preserved better than if it was very hot in the summer. It's a little bit morbid, but the winter would preserve it, the cold would preserve it, but it still would be bad if someone got lost in the snow. It'd be hard to find them. Cold winter snow, it makes it more difficult to, that's actually difficult to search and find somebody. Mermaid said, like, some guy told her he would take her away from all her problems, and she lived with mom and dad, and she's 41. Oh, well, if there's a person that was trying to love bomb her and manipulate her like that, well, that is unfortunate. That would be a prime suspect in my eyes. Hmm. Maybe he's doing it to a couple of different women. Okay, so thank you, Mermaid, for filling me in with this information. Yeah, Mermaid, because a lot of people can be charmed or swindled by a person, especially if they're desperate. I mean, if somebody comes up to you with a cast and says they need help with a sailboat, it doesn't make any sense at the moment, but somebody might go, "Oh, we'll go help this person," but it's not really what they think it is. So definitely there's wolves in sheep's clothing we ought to be careful of. And it very well may have been Mermaid, absolutely. At some point, we're going to find out what exactly happened, I think. At some point. Sometimes people can impersonate law enforcement, whatever. People would just be at, people do crazy things. Absolutely, Mermaid. And you do have a very inquisitive mind that's good at analyzing those things. And hopefully she's okay, but or she went somewhere else, but it's definitely a strange situation. Yeah, I know, Mermaid, and it could happen anywhere. It's very horrible when it does happen. Yes, UAP. There you go. Right. Scared. Exactly. Jenny, come home. And definitely a very good friend of yours. And as I said, she wouldn't want to do anything to hurt you or anyone else. All right. Just keep that in mind. That is true, mermaid. It's like a nightmare, but it's real. It's like we wake up from a dream, but it doesn't. You don't wake up. Oh, yeah, mermaid. I could only imagine. It must be very heartbreaking that you were going to have plans with her and that happened. Hello, Sagro. Welcome to the stream. Sagro, mermaid has a friend named Jenny that went missing, and we're just discussing this case right now. And mermaid said it's hard to focus and couldn't even do video last night. Okay. I said hopefully, she's okay or if she's sick, maybe she could get better. That's what I would hope for. You know, until we have answers about what really happened, we will, maybe she's sick or maybe she's, we'll find out more about it later. But thanks, chat, for the like button. I appreciate it. Oh, hello, Passion. Welcome to the stream. Oh, wow, Mermaid. Yeah. Well, that's good, Mermaid. You're trying to actively help out your friend. That's good. Now, has the family made any statements about her? That's something I'd be curious about knowing. Oh yeah, that's the best kind. It's like the undulation of trials will cause you to like forget which trial you're in. A trial trance. Marie said, seek her out, give me an answer, and she patted away. She patted it away, cried, and told everyone, I do not want to know how. Okay, understood, mermaid. Because there is an answer. Maybe there is an answer that we don't know just yet. Maybe we'll find out later. We do suffer more in imagination and reality. So maybe there's, a logical answer to this at some point. Which, but we will see what the truth is at some point, whatever it is. But yeah, absolutely, mermaid. Yeah, it's uh, definitely a reality. A lot of times, denial's a normal response because the brain is a defense mechanism. Well, that's very nice of you to say, UAP. Yeah, um, and it's, I'm we're here. I'm here for you, mermaid, to talk to. But whatever. Scared, scared. Oh, mermaid, scared. And the Hans face pool room, scared. Yeah, and that's definitely a traumatic, response. Mermaid, the faces in there were very haunting because you had all these faces that were there, and they were smiling. They were just gray, and it was a maze of faces. I remember. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They're swirling, and their faces are swirling. Yeah, I can imagine. That has to be a very trippy thing. It's also a distorted because it's like the faces aren't really what they say they are. They're turning into something else, like they're shapeshifters. Back to AP, I agree. Yeah, the black pools are definitely very terrifying. Yeah, because you never know what's lurking in that water in those dark pools. Anything can be lurking. Absolutely. Pash says I can only relate to it in so far in my dog escaping when I was a kid and always going to the beach to find him in the same dunes over and over. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's also feel bad about hearing that, Pash. Yeah, it's something that repeats in a loop over and over again. And there are a few missing ladies in Colorado around this time period, besides your friend. 15, 16, 40, and 71, and 42. It said, dog ran away and came back days later. It deleted me, but now he came back. Yeah, so Mermaid, the ages are 16, 40, 71, 15, and 42. The two matches is 40 and 42, and 15 and 16. And the odd one is 71. Yeah. It's usually, and all this happened between May and April in that region, you know, in that state. So, kind of strange. Oh, hello, Gooby. Nice to see you. And also 40 as well. Sounds like some sort of a shark frenzy of some kind. I know, so I don't know if something's happening or what it is. Yes, we do have quite a bit of people. Yes, absolutely. It's like a whole another. It's like a whole dimension of people here, of a whole universe. Here. Oh, shout out to the New Zealand cats. Very cool. Oh yeah, I remember her. She was desperate. She was trying to convince everybody that autism was the same thing and that the dude was doing. She was just real desperate. Yeah, American Psychos, right? Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's definitely a moron. Yeah, I remember she was there earlier and she was talking about, you know, the dude was eating coins and all his other stuff is just like real weird. And he was there's nothing like people with autism could have like a rage, but the thing that this dude was something very different. So yeah, it just she didn't really have much to work with. She was in a losing battle, but she did what she could to try to make face, but she really just like making herself look like a fool. Yeah. Okay, Passion says we should have closing arguments in Julio Thursday, by the way. Looking forward to hearing four defense attorneys say you can prove my client was involved repeatedly. You can't prove my client was involved. That's gonna be funny. Exactly, OAP. Yeah, it was cringe. Looking forward to hearing four defense attorneys saying you can't prove my client was involved. Yeah, that's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be certainly a clown show. Yeah, sometimes UAP truth is strangers in fiction. That's something that can happen. Truth is strangers in fiction. I didn't even really realize that, but yeah, a lot of times things can happen in reality that is stranger than anything could happen in movies. We have some plot twists in reality could be making me scared. Mhm. The world is backwards. I definitely agree with you. The world is very backwards and selfish, and a lot of people seem to get corrupted, and it's de-evolution. It's everything's regressing backwards. It's like how we're supposed to advance as civilization if we keep on regressing like this. It's extremely ridiculous. Oh, okay, Mermaid. Thank you. Thank you for the update. Oh, a passion. I'm sure it did. Because he was a governor of Cali. Yeah, that was something that when I heard about it, I thought that was like, whoa, that's really wild. That he was also the governor too. But I mean, people that were witnessing it happen must have been very of a take back as well. It's like, whoa, taken back by this. Mermaid said she said nothing and still no sign. Jenny, oh yeah, absolutely. Jenny, come back. Indeed. Marine said, "My heart is already broken over son's life, and let's see, cry more. And she is was a friend of mine. I can only, yeah, the parents definitely need to keep track of what's going on. Yeah, maybe she wanted to get an escape. Maybe she wanted to go somewhere else or have an adventure, and maybe she felt trapped. It's possible her parents may have made her feel that way. UAP. I think I've looked at it. Although I've been very busy with the trials and the streams that I do, so that's what I've been focusing on the most. But I think I looked at it the other day on the stream, the mountain entities. But I'm gonna do it again as a recap about it. But I did look at it the other day, but mainly been focusing on these streams. But yes, Chat and I were talking about that a couple of days ago. I wish it was easy as going to the beach and looking for Jenny happily investigating the dunes. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, the dunes have all kinds of stuff, I'm sure, because people drop things, and I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff to be explored. Definitely will be a place to have the metal detectors. Murray said, "I wonder if her parents know and they're not telling anyone at this point. It's possible they know. Maybe she got sick or was deleted herself or whatever, and they're just not releasing a statement yet." Yeah, thank you. I think I subscribed to it. But I'll definitely. Yeah, wait. I looked at it UAP when you told me about it, but I need to look at it another time though. But yeah, I think I subscribed to it. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mermaid, for doing that, and I look forward to your video, Mermaid. I'll definitely check it out when you release it. I miss seeing your videos. I like seeing being in your chat, and you have very good content. Jenny would want you to continue your channel and do your videos. That's what she would want you to do. So we have mythology in New Zealand. All I can remember is praising the Queen all the time. Rest in peace, former Queen Elizabeth II. Yes, rest in peace. And there is other mythologies there besides her. It was uh, these giants that existed over there. That was quite fascinating. Same similar giants that we see across the world. There's quite a few different cryptids and mythological creatures that and gods that existed there. Yeah, Maori mythology. Yes, there's a key deities in the Maori gods and their children of Rangi and Papa, each ruling a specific domain. The Mahuta, god of forests and birds, creator of the first woman, Hain Ahiu one. The Tangaera, Aero, uh, god of the sea and all of its creatures. The Tugmata Urenga, god of war, human activities, and only brother to stand firm against the storms of Tawarmanata. And then there is Tawurlmenatia, a god of weather, storms, and he possesses a separation of his parents and continues to attack his brother with violent winds. Ro Amoko, the youngest unborn god of earthquakes and volcanoes who remains inside the earth and mother's womb. The Mayui are clever demigods and tricksters, hero whose exploits fundamentally shaped New Zealand. Yes, exactly, passion. Fishing up the North Island using a magic hook made from his grandmother's jawbone. Mayui hauled a giant fish in the sea, and the fish became the North Island, while his canoe became the South Island, slowing the sun. The Mayuri shared the sun, whose rope forced the move slowly across the sky, giving humans longer days to work in the east. Discovering fire, he tricked the goddess Mahukai, no Mahuka, into revealing the secrets of fire, which he then hid trees so humans could access it. The Paikia is a legendary ancestor who traveled to New Zealand at the back of the whale, and the Tan-Iwa, supernatural creature that live in waterways that can protective guards and most dangerous monsters. Embrace. Original Ranji and Papa were locked in a tight, eternal embrace and kept their children in total darkness. Separation. After many failed attempts by his brother Thane, god of force, lay on his back and used the powerful legs to push Ranji upward and finally bringing light to the world. Oh, that is good, Mermaid. Glad they're doing a welfare check. We need to know if everything's okay or not. Yeah. Mhm. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Passion. The Jawbone fishing trip. Now, UI didn't just catch a big fish; he caught New Zealand. He took used a hook made from his grandmother's jawbone, coated in his own blood for bait, and hauled it north. Wacky parts. The mountains and the valleys of the North Island are said to be the bruises and crusts of the fishes back from the Marai brothers. Got greedy and started hacking at it with their axes before it was dead. Beating up the sun. Back in a day, Tama Uaitara was a fast runner. He zipped across the sky so quickly that humans didn't have the time to their chores or to eat. Wacky part. Mayui and his brothers traveled to the edge of the world, built a giant flax ropes, and ambushed the sun. As he woke, he tied him to the Muai beast and had him with a magical jawbones. Beat him with magical jawbone until the sun was so sore, weakened that it could only limp slowly across the sky from one of them. From then on. Oh, understood passion. Interesting UAP. I wonder what secrets those stone blocks are hiding from us. Stealing fire from fingertips. Murai wanted to know where the fire came from, so he visited the ancestor of the fire goddess, Mahuika. The wacky part, Mahuika fire lived in the fingernails. Every Ryui also for fire. She pluck off a nail, give it to him. Mayui accidentally dropped the fire in the water, and going back more, and she was down in her last toenail, and she eventually got so mad that she set the whole world on fire to teach him a lesson. Understood, UAP, understood. The Skyfather's wardrobe. When the world was created, the Skyfather Ranji, the Earth Mother Paga were separated, leaving the Ranji naked in the cold. The wacky part. The son Tane felt bad felt bad for his dad's wardrobe situation, and he traveled across the universe to find the stars and carefully pinned them onto his feather's back and make him a cloak so he wouldn't be cold and would look much fancier. The Moe's final act was trying to conquer death by deleting the goddess of death. While she slept, the wacky part is that his plan was turn into a lizard and crawl inside her body to reverse the birth process. He told his best friends to not laugh, but one of the bird, Fan Fantil, couldn't hold it in. The laughter woke the goddess up, and she crushed Miyui, and that's why humans aren't immortal today. Interesting. Yeah, similar to Zeus. I think these different religions and these different beliefs were interconnected. That they had similar concepts. Alright, Trishan. The somewhat powerful supernatural beings that dwell in deep pools and river caves or the sea. They are ultimately river monsters, often appearing as giant lizard serpents, or even enchanted logs that move against the current. The Kai Taiki guardians. Many are revered protectors of the specific tribes. There were people who of income enemies, storms of the flood, and they are often given offerings of green twigs or first fruit for harvest to show respect. Dangerous predators, other than terrifying man eaters that hide in treacherous waterways to snatch underwater travelers and kidnap women. Don't know if the plan would have worked. Sounds like a 5-year old logic. If I crawl inside of the form of death, I am reversing death, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The type of logic is very trippy. The Tuta Peprop, or the Pepro, famous Taniwa began life as part of the shark on its own, and then it was deleted and escaped into the Whanganui River and grew into a scaly bird, a headed monster that swallowed entire canoes and their crews. Reminds me of the Thunderbirds. The Peaky Hyua, a spiky whale-like monster that lived in a deep spring in Rotorua, and he was finally defeated by a hero named Pikataka with a giant basket trap and decorated with a bird feathers, and used nose haul and the monster to the surface. The Hind Karako, a rare beloved female Tanawa who lived under the Reniga waterfall once in the river and was heavily flooded. She was seen physically holding a black canoe that was being swept toward the falls, saving everyone on board. Okay. Passionate drunken sailors excuse for the lost canoes. You gotta believe me, guys. You gotta believe me, guys. A huge creature with a body of a snake and a bird's head ate my canoe. So do you believe me? Yeah, I know. It's definitely a believable story. It's definitely a believable story. Scared about that. Drunken sailor excuse for canoes. It's like, oh, you gotta be. Yeah, believe me, you guys. A huge creature with a body with a bird's head swallowed a canoe. Does everyone believe them now? Perhaps the most famous guide that was actually an enemy was the great navigator Kupi, discovered in New Zealand while chasing a giant octopus across the universe. Chase. The octopus belonged to a rival chief that, stealing bait from the Kupi's fishing ground, Kupi vowed to delete and follow the thousands of miles. The chase, led by Kupi, described the shore of New Zealand, and he was able to cornered and killed in the Cork Strait. In England, during the time of the journey, Kupi's wife, Cara Maronite, long white cloud of the horizon, uh, explained the following phrase: "He ao Eatarana, a cloud, landing along the white cloud." It is true. A lot of times they thought that we were the explorers, were aliens or something coming from the sky. During the journey expedition, they named land, and they named the south cloud of the horizon and exclaimed that the Ao is a cloud, the land of long ago with white clouds, giving the country of Murray name. Yeah. So it seems like they had different saints and these things that had, or saints to them, but technically just like paranormal type entities and things that were going on. And that is what they were seeing. Right? The Guardian, the Taniwa. Many of the first Greer Voyages canoes were escorted by the Taniwa that acted as a supernatural protectors and navigators. And this Goopy's personal garden kept place with him in Cook Strait to guide and protect the future canoes passing through dangerous waters. She believed that the Tauraniga later took the form of Dolphin Pelarouge Jack, the guy at the ship, to early 1900s. You see that Dolphin is actually Gerald. The Aratiur Rue. A female oh, a female a female Teniwa who was escorted in the Mamori canoe, upper reaching the Hawkage and harbor. She and her 11 sons are said to have carved the out various branches and harbor with the trails. Passion, I think it's a brilliant name for a country. Land of the Long White Cloud. Yeah, it's definitely pretty straightforward right there. Living nature, birds and whales. The Murai navigators also relied on the living guides of the natural world, whales. In many traditions, ancestors of like the Ikea were saved or the original news. Hello, Amy. It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream. The migratory birds. The navigators watched the flight path of birds like the long-tailed cuckoo. Since these birds don't land on water, they see them flying from the sky and meant they had to be live on land direction. Okay, so Amy, we are talking about some New Zealand mythology right now. Oh, yeah. So, Amy, earlier we are talking about missing people in Colorado because Mermaid's friend Jenny is missing in Colorado. There's also other people in Colorado. There are other ladies that are missing too in Colorado too, and in a similar age group. So that was kind of mysterious and kind of kind of dark because trying to see about her friend, and apparently they have an update about they're trying to locate her and do a welfare check on her. So that'll be good to see if they're able to confirm if she's okay or not. So that's what we're talking about. Now we're talking about the New Zealand mythology. Well, it specifically is called the Maori cultures. Vessels that settled in New Zealand were primarily Waka Haru, large double-hulled sailing catamarans and designed for stability and speed. The construction. They were built using massive hollowed-out tree trunks and hulls connected by crossbeams and central platform. No nails. Builders used the natural fibers stitched to the wood together. This allowed the waka to flex, absorb, and pursue and pressure of heat and ocean that was rather waves rather than snapping. The golf ball secret. Some traditions designs features the dimpled hull surfaces. Modern tests show that these dimples are created by small pockets to reduce the friction, allowing them to travel significantly faster through the water. We know there's UFOs and stuff that allegedly can do that now. Capacity. Long distance voyages in the Waka were typically around 20 meters long, carrying up to roughly 10 to 15,000 crew members. Some historical accounts describe the massive vessels carrying 100 people and supplies for a month. All right. Pash said innovative buildings and techniques. Instead of going to extreme size and stability from within, they create a two uh, canoes and uh, no pontoons and attach them together like over a wide area. Yeah, the technology of these ancient civilizations was extremely fascinating. Oh, that is ironic, Amy. Indeed. Who thought putting steel into water and float? That's awesome. Yeah, the thing about a ship or a boat made out of metal being put in water is extremely fascinating phenomena. You have a situation that occurs where people will have that right, and the physics of it is the buoyancy of the ship is a certain way where no it cannot sink because the way the water is distributed outward. So there's experiments that were done in the past to get it just right. And that's how the logic of these ships you see work, is that they're using physics and redistributed, geometric shapes to make it float, which I think is quite fascinating. Like making ships from stone, right? Right. Yeah, and yeah, those fish definitely seem like they have good digestive systems, and that is good. Right. And the star compass. Navigators used the metal star compass that divided the horizontal into 32 more houses and the base of where specific rice rise and the set. The vessels that settled in New Zealand are primarily the Waka large double-hulled sailing ships. Construction. They're built about using massive hollowed-out tree trunks and kuri tautara and hulls connected by crossbeams and central platform. No nails. Builders use the natural fibers like flax or coconut uh, carriage to stitch the wood together, and this allowed the waka to flex and absorb the pressure of heavy ocean waves rather than snapping. Some traditions feature that the dimple across the hull was some air pocket to reduce friction along the waka significantly faster than the other through the water. Capacity. The long distance voyaging. Oh, yes, I definitely agree. Passion, yeah, definitely. Right. The dimples create a small air pocket that reduce friction, allowing them to waka a significant faster and speed of water. Right. Capacity. Long distance voyaging wake where typically 200 meters long and carrying up to 10 to 15 crew members, though some historical accounts describe the massive visuals carrying up to 100 people supplies for a month. Yes, and some woods do it better than others. Yeah, it depends which wood, but definitely some wood can pull it off. Definitely. Like wooden floors, yes, that is true. And plywood is something good for wooden floors. Guide stars, the star compass. That's what I was trying to go for. The navigator used the mental compass that divided the horizon into 32 or more houses based on whether specific stars rise and set. The Te Toru, used as reliable indicator of east and west. The Ata Hayui, the second biggest star in the sky that was primarily guided to point to the direction of the south. The Mata Rika, the appearance designed to become the beginning at the Morai New Year. So it's a New Year thing when they do this other type of ritual. Interesting. Reading the ocean, if it was too cloudy to see stars, navigation felt like an ocean swells that they could digest and distinguish between multiple overlapping wave patterns, and say on a country keeping the waka at a consistent angle. Primary as well. Okay, the movie once was Warriors and it was good. Okay. Okay, and but my NZ bros and sisters are amazing, spiritually friendly, equal. The movie ones is where all are warriors and good and was good. Okay, yes, it is again. The movie Warriors was good, and like just like the wooden floors and but NZ bros and sisters are amazing spirituality and friendship. It would have been terrifying in the ocean at night, especially when stars before GPS. It had to be a beautiful sight, yet kind of scary or freaky, because that was the only light that illuminated everything. They were able to have the sun, but when they eventually had the sun go down, they were left with a bunch of stars and stuff like that. But they all were just left with their own compass and intuition as well. I would have been terrifying in the ocean at night is something that I personally think is facts. And when they had GPS, that would make everything a whole lot easier, but they didn't do that. Okay. Right. Yes, he did. Okay, and now we're gonna go to the other part. Let's see. Yes, the Vikings are very good with it too, and they're very good with using the stone to navigate the different lands, and they did do a lot of accomplishments, indeed. Navigating at night without a modern instrument was a feat of memory and physical sensitivity to the state, of course, that Morai and Polynesians navigated. The use of complex mental map and physical felt that the ocean to trick their progress. The Star Pass, the mesmerized sequences of 7 and 12 for a light night. They would steer toward the specific star on the horizon, and once the rows too high are set to switch the next star, and mentioned sequences follow the same path, see the frequencies, and the latitude markers. They knew that the stars passed directly over them for down in Centrin Island, allowing them to determine. They will, yes, and that will, they were determining. So they knew what stars to pass and directly overhead in certain islands, allowing them to determine their north and south positions. See, a lot of times with the constellations, you're able to tell, some of them are closer to the north, some of them are closer to the south, and they're able to use the, they say the Big Dipper, Little Dipper, to figure out which lands go where. But at nighttime, it might be very magical looking that they're able to have this type of concept, just illuminated by the stars only, and they had the courage to go right in the middle of the water where there's sea monsters and all kinds of things. I just said I haven't tracked a single star in my life. I just look at all the admire the beauty and move on. Yes, yes. Oh, understood. Never met a single star in my life, and I just look at them all and admire the beauty and move on. But yeah, I really am interested in astronomy, and I have tracked a couple of them. They knew months via the moon. Yes, yes. Especially how there's different moon cycles and moon patterns that exist as well. Feeling the ocean swells. It was too cloudy to see a star's navigation relied on the ocean swells, long deep water waves that remain consistent for days regardless of local winds. The physical feedback. Master navigators could distinguish between 5 different swells simultaneously, and just by the rhythmic rock in the canoe, holding the angle. One of the several of their cousins was in theaters, and simulation was just a rhythmic rock of canoe. The holding angle, once the set of their course they had, the stars noted that the angel, which been primarily swell, that the hull, eventually darkness of the heavy clouds, and any change in the beat of the rhythm alerted them, and the canoe drifted off, of course. Dead reckoning. The navigator was the only person aboard who did not work the shifts. They had to maintain continuous mental log off. Speed measured by timing. How long it took to travel, length of hull, etc. So deep fluorescence. At night, the navigator watched the Te Lapa, the mysterious underwater flashes of light that appear to bloom or flash out of the direct land. This could be identified as a landmass far from the 800 miles, 100 miles away. Talapa, the Flash, is one of the most mysterious supernatural tools in the Polynesian navigation. It is specifically a type of underwater bioluminescence that navigators use to find land and still see far beyond the horizon. Yes, they knew there must be the moon, correct. Deep water, it was occurs in deep underwater about 2 to 3 meters deep, and the best scene of the dark nights was with little moonlight. The V-shaped navigators described it as looking like a flicker of light in underwater that points directly toward an island. Yes, absolutely, passion. Definitely agree. How navigators use it: the long range detection. The T Lapa can be seen from 800 to 100 miles away from the island, way before you can see birds, clouds, and land itself. Staying on course at night. If a navigator loses the star, which clouds watch, they use those flashes know exactly what direction a land mass to see. Some researchers think that it's caused by deep sea organisms. The research of underwater swells that bounce off the island and travel back to the sea. Others believe that it's a specific type of light reflection. Regardless of the how the Maori Polynesian ancestors is reliable underwater compasses that made almost impossible for them to stay lost for long. Yes, Amy, I'm okay. I aired a trial earlier, and it's been a long day, but it was nice airing that earlier. I hope that you're okay as well, Amy. Thank you for asking. Exactly, Passion. If you're looking for God proof of God's existence, Exhibit A, the ocean has glowing direction markers. Yeah, yeah. These people knew exactly right where to go. Oh, thank you, Amy. Thank you. I appreciate it. The most famous sea monster seen by the early Maori ancestor was the Te Wike Matrangi, a giant octopus that supposedly led the navigator Kupi and discovered of New Zealand. According to legend, the creature was pet of the rival chief in Hawaii and was a stealing from the Koopa's nests, and Koopa chased the best thousands of miles across the Pacific, finally concerning the deletion and killing of Cook Strait. All right, the legend of T. Wiki Mecharangi. The chase. The monster was massive, with the tentacles so long they could destroy the ships, and Kupi followed it across the Te Moana Nui Kiwa Pacific Ocean, using the stars and ocean swells to keep pace. A battle. In the final shadows, Kupi used a clever trick. He threw a large water containers grounded into the water to distract the octopus. When the beast wrapped its tentacles around the containers, Kupi struck its head with the fatal blow. Shaping the land. Local lore said that the violent thrashing of octopus during the battle carved the Captain Nemo. Yeah. yeah. Uh, the shaping land. Local lore says that the violent thrashing of the octopus during this battle carved out by the Maro Barrow sounds. Its eyes were allegedly thrown into the sea, became an island, and known as the Brothers of Nagawakutu Ke Panyu. Beyond the giant octopus, navigators frequently reported the encounters of the Taniwa, a supernatural being that lived in the deep waters. The shapeshifters. These beginnings, they could appear as giant sharks, whales, serpents, or even in enchanted logs. I couldn't think of the word. It was enchanted logs that moved against the current. So, chat, there's enchanted logs in the water that turn into some sort of a sea monster. I guess if you see like a log that's floating in the water, it's game over. The Tahiranji, the Koopa's personal guardian Tanawa, which he placed in Cook Strait to protect the future travelers. It was later believed to have reappeared in the late 1800s. A famous white dolphin named Gerald. Actually, it was Pelorus Jack, which guided the ship through dangerous passages. Predatory beasts. Not all were friendly, and some of the legends in the Taniwa started the pet shark but grew scaly skin, eventually swallowing the canoes in their caves. Passion says, "Don't get near the floating logs. Why not? Because they're magical monsters that'll destroy my ship." Scared. I guess the logs in the water are like a Thanos snap equivalent. It's like the it's like they look in the horizon and they see a floating log coming by them and they say to themselves, "Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again." That from that song. Yeah, that's definitely what goes through their mind when they see the log reappearing. The Pitaka is one of the most famous slayers and renowned mission of the Kill Pehuana. Yeah, is the spiky whale and the tiny wa that lived in deep water hole called the Tiwara Yuri. They're similar. That's good to know. I would think they would be similar. And yeah, and that's how they lived. That's how they did things. They're very similar to the Aboriginal ones. And these civilizations were incredible. That their survival characteristics that they did, you know, is incredible. All right, the Pitaka is the most famous slayer, renowned for his mission of to kill the Pekua and the spiky whale in the Tinwa lived in a deep water hole called the Tiwaro Yuri. And he said, "Kind to think I'm going to allow you past to enjoy each other's company. Bless you, alien." Okay. Okay, Amy, thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. All right. Appreciate you coming by, hang out with us for a little bit. The strategy: the Pitaka and his warriors wove a massive stout basket out of the supple jack vines and decorated it with bird feathers. The dive: the Pitaka and several friends climbed inside a cage which is weighted with rocks and lowered into the monster's lair. While priests and surface chanted the uh yeah right on. While priests on the surface chanted the "We definitely had a long day with trials." While surface chanted the Karakai, the charms to make monsters sleepy and soften in spikes, the Pitaka slept in a noose over its head. The victory: warriors in the surface hauled the cage and struggling monster to the riverbank. where the waiting army pounded to death. The Au, Ku, and Hololog. When the shape-shifting shark monster began terrorizing the Wanganyu River, people in the Au Ku renewed the Trojan log. A Ku and his people allow a large log which climbed into before sealing a lid with watertight clay, then float it down the river as bait. Oh, hello, Earthy. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. The Trojan log. The Au had people in the hollow of a large log which he climbed into before sealing the lid and watertight. Thank you, Earthy. I appreciate it. And what happened was this: we're talking about New Zealand mythology and how they got to the island. I was in a juror in a trial recently, and I chose. No one told me anything, but I chose to have a different look. Also, and see, Earthy said, I just learned about another ancient philosopher healer like Jesus who is not really talked about or known. Oh, tell me about who it is. Interesting. Inside job, the Tanwas smelled a U Apollonius of Tyana. Okay. Swallowed a log. Okay, so let's see. Inside job, the Taniwa smelled like AU and swallowed the log whole. Once inside the monster's stomach, AU used the two shark tooth weapons to slash his way out and deleting the beast from the inside. The Temur was a chief from the Haruki who possessed a special myrrh with magical power to destroy the Teniwa. Taming the beast, he was called to deal with the Kaiwar, lived in a cave near the Manakua harbor, and wrestled the monster and curved over the head. Oh, okay, interesting. Interesting. Results, interestingly, the Tamir didn't delete Kaiwar, but wounded him enough to tame him. The monster still lives in the harbor today, but only eats crayfish and octopus inside of the humans. That's very trippy. Very trippy. The Parutu used advanced military tactics to defeat the T. Kai Walker Wakaryuaki, fearsome lizard-like monster in the Golden Bay. Tactic: he divided his war party into three groups. The first group acted as bait to lure the Teniwa and trap, while the other two groups flanked. As the monster turned to attack one group, the other would strike, eventually overwhelming and slaying the beast. Hello there, Falcon. Good to see you. The three sisters and the Taiwan legends. The three human sons became slayers to save their family and their mother had kidnapped and bore six sons and three were human. Okay, we're talking about New Zealand mythology. I do, Earthy. Maybe good humans is a social engineering concept to keep us all insecure. Right, right. No, it's not in. It's not over there. Morai warriors use very special weapons made from wood, bones, and stone, with most prestigious being mere Hanuma, often believed to possess its own supernatural power. The mere Payumiu. Oh, that's awesome talking. Alright, this teardrop shaped hand club was made from the Payuma jade, a stone prized for more than gold for its extreme hardness and spiritual uh, significance. These weapons were often given individual names and passed down sacred heirlooms. Some they use, like the Tamir, were specifically created or credited to the magical power to defeat Tame and Teniwa. I played it a long time ago. Yeah. Karakai charms. While not use physical weapons, the Karakai were essentially for monsters slaying. The priest of warriors would chant these spiritual incantations, weakening the Teniwa and make it sleepy or even soften its deeply spikes before an attack. Specialized traps. The slayers used to ingenious physical tools like the Taiki large basket trap made from supplejack and decorated with feathers and capture crates in the Peku Haya. That's true. Oh, Earthy, yeah, because that's the day when alien stuff was going on, right? Let's see. Authentic New Zealand Payunamu is primarily managed of the Ngai Tayu, who were legally recognized as the Guardians of 1997. Oh, Earthy, I wouldn't doubt it if they are silencing him. I hope they're not, but I definitely wouldn't put it past them. Legal ownership. The Nagai 1997 returned naturally occurring at the Panmu South Island in tribal area and the Nagai Tom people. Public false sicking. You can still legally find but designed in the West Coast beaches, and they're limited so they can carry in person a backpack for 24 hours. Okay. The legendary chiefs. Known for the Napoleon of the South, the T. Rafara was brilliant, feared Dao chief that early 19th century musket wars. They could be using him for disclosure because he definitely knows a lot of stuff, and he's clearly already been vocally out there about his alien experiences, so that's very possible too. The Greenstone Wars. He launched the brutal raids in South Island largely to seize control of the valuables and the eponymous source. The Siege of Kaipoi 1831 remains one of the famous battles of Maori history. Authorities in K-Mate, world famous Haka Kamate, after narrowly escaping death by hiding the sweet potato while his enemies searched for him. All right, the fish hook resembles strength, determination, and safe travel over water. Spiral, modeled after the curling of the fern found in the it represented new life, growth, and peace. Most common symbol of the fresh start. Represents so that's what the spiral is. The twist represents the eternal bond between two people, friends, lovers, and even when they are part of their path, will always cross again. The Guardian, a mythical creature with the head of a bird, body of a man, and tail of the fish. It is supernatural protector and wards off evil. Oh, thank you, UAP. I appreciate it for the feedback. The human form. One of the most sacred symbols represents the first human and is powerful charm, frequently wisdom, and ancestral connection. The gift rule traditionally. Okay. Rules. Okay. All right. Tikis. The scary aspect of the tiki comes from the deep connection to the spiritual world and the role of the vessel ancestral power, while in a symbol protection is also a reminder of the thin line between the living and the not alive. One of the most persistent, slightly eerie theories is that the tiki shape represents the human embryo, specifically those of stillborn children, powerful spirits. The belief is an unborn that are considered particularly powerful and potentially volatile because they were cheated on their time on Earth, protection through fear. This is why the tiki is often depicted with a large head, three fingers, and fierce expression. It is meant to look formidable to scare away malicious spirits. Legend of the Teeth, the first of the demigod, tried to win immortality for humans for crawling into the body of the sleeping goddess. Legend says that she abstained of teeth, often craved the mouths of the tiki figures, and she used to crush the god when the bird's laughter woke her up. This act as a solid death of permanent part of the human experience. Yes, exactly, passion. Because the tiki are treasures, they absorb the power of every person who wears them and are treated with extreme caution. When the chief or high-ranking guardian is deleted, their tiki will often be buried with them to keep the spirit company. It is widely believed that disturbing or stealing a spiritually charged tiki can cause misfortune. Our object is said to be its original ancestral owner. Large wooden tiki figures were traditionally placed at the gates of a fortified village to mark boundaries of their aggressive posture, tongues, and eyes wide, several as warning of the intruder entering the sacred forbidden area and would face wrath of the ancestors. All right, so at this point in time, we will be ending the stream for now, and then we'll later on, at some point, we'll do the garden live. So appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out with us, and thank you for feedback chat. This is very fascinating about the New Zealand mythology. Very cool, and peace.